Allah is my heart's speech. Your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. Dear viewers, welcome to another episode of Ask Huda. This is Hatim al-Hajj. I'll be in place of Sheikh Muhammad Salah, who usually is the presenter of this program. And inshallah, he will be with you in a few weeks, inshallah. I will ask you to send your questions via email or to either call us at 002-0238-555-248 or 249. Again, the number would be 002-0238-555-248 or 249, and I think the number will show on the screen from time to time, inshallah. Until we get the first question, I do have some pending questions from last time here. The first one is from Brother Muhammad Khan from Pakistan, and he says, does a woman have to fast Ramadan if she is breastfeeding? And the answer to this is no, she does not have to fast Ramadan if she's breastfeeding. But if she can fast Ramadan and she prefers to fast, she may fast if she feels that it does not cause her any weakness, it does not diminish her milk supply, it does not affect the infant in any way, and she prefers to fast, then she certainly may fast. If she does not fast, if she decides that she will not fast because it makes her weak, it affects the milk supply, or affects the infant in some way, then she may break her fast. What will be upon her is somewhat controversial, and some of the scholars said that she will have to make up for the days that she broke her fast because of breastfeeding and pregnancy. Some of the, a less popular opinion, in fact, the first opinion is the more popular opinion, that she does have to make up for those days. The less popular opinion, although still quite strong position, reported from Abdullah ibn Abbas, the cousin of the Prophet ﷺ, is that she may actually feed a poor person per every day she broke her fast, and she will not need to do the makeup. So she either does the makeup for those days, or she will need to make up for those days somewhere between this Ramadan and next Ramadan, or she will need to pay, to feed a poor person per every day of breaking her fast. The second position is the less popular position, meaning there are less scholars in support of it, but it is still quite a significant position, and we would choose this position for people who have frequent pregnancies and they're frequently either pregnant or breastfeeding. Sometimes for certain women, they could be pregnant or breastfeeding for several years, sometimes 10, 12, 15 years. They could be either pregnant or breastfeeding. So to require of her to make up for all of the years would be somewhat of a hardship, and for those women we would advise that they give the feeding of poor person per day, per every day they broke their fasting. But again, if they prefer not to, if they prefer to make up for those days, that would certainly be preferred. She will be acting upon the position or the fatwa or the decree of the vast majority of the scholars. For women who have infrequent, who have like a few days where she broke her fast, or she is not usually pregnant or breastfeeding, then we would prefer for her to make up for those days. The next question here is from Brother Zuhair from the Netherlands, and he says, my son would like to marry but cannot afford to rent his own place. Is it okay for him to get married and continue to live with me? And the bride will continue to live with her family until they can afford to move out. It is a suboptimal arrangement, but certainly a permissible one. If he marries her and each one lives with their own family, that is certainly permissible. Cohabitation is not a requirement in marriage. Cohabitation is not a condition, but it is the preferred arrangement. But if they cannot afford to do that and they decided to live each one with their own family, then that marriage is certainly permissible, but still a suboptimal arrangement. The next question here is from Sister Asiya from I am not quite sure of which country she is from, but it says Sister Asiya, I think Asiya Yusuf. And she says, is it permissible in Islam to cut off your salat and start over when one is totally confused about how many rakat he or she has performed? No, you should not cut off your salah and start over unless you had interrupted your salah. You broke your salah by something that would interrupt or break the salah. But if you are confused regarding the number of rak'at that you prayed, I'll give you this answer. Now, if you are in complete doubt, meaning it is 50-50, 50% you prayed 2, 50% you prayed 3, then you base your actions on certainty. Because the Prophet ﷺ said, من شك في صلاته أصلى ثلاثا أم أربعا فليطرح الشك وليبني على ما استيقن. Whoever has doubt regarding his prayer and he is uncertain whether he prays 3 or 4 rak'ahs, he should cast the doubt away and base his action on certainty. Basing his action on certainty here would be to count them as 2, not 3, or 3, not 4, the lesser number. To consider himself prayed the lesser number and proceed from there. But if someone is frequently in doubt, and can sort out, the position that was chosen by Imam Taymiyyah, may Allah bestow mercy on him, from the Hanbali madhab, is that if someone has the ability to sort things out, in other words, it is not the case of the 50-50, which is called shak, which is doubt, but there is some degree of probability here, meaning it is 70%, 70-30, 80-20, 90-10, then he should try to sort it out and try to figure out what he actually did, whether it was 2 or 3 or it was 3 or 4, and proceed from there. Because the Prophet ﷺ said in a hadith, Man shakka fi salatihi, in a different hadith, he said, فَلْيَتَحَرَّ الصَّوَابِ. Whoever has doubt in his prayer and he doubts whether he prayed 3 or 4 rakahs, let him try to sort it out, figure it out. فَلْيَتَحَرَّ الصَّوَابِ. Figure out what's correct. This is prescribed for people who have probability or have a higher likelihood. Their doubt is not basically equal, ended on both sides, 50-50. And according to Imam Abu Hanifa and Imam al-Layth ibn Sa'd, this is particularly prescribed for people who have frequent doubts, so that they are not overtaken by obsessions. And that is the position of Imam Abu Hanifa and Imam al-Layth ibn Sa'd. that they would go upon this recommendation from the Prophet ﷺ to try to sort it out, versus basing on the lesser number if they have frequent doubts in their salah. Otherwise, the shaitan could overwhelm them. They'll have doubt whether they prayed one or two, and then they think they'll say, I prayed one, and then they'll doubt whether they prayed two or three, and so on. So they could do 9 or 10 rak'ahs, and instead of 4 for the Dhuhr or Asr, for instance. I think I have a question here. I have Abdul Rahman from KSA. Go ahead, sister.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I have 2 questions. One question is it permissible for a husband to make his wife travel more than 24 hours to another country by herself so that he can go to visit his family and spend more time with them, rather than accompany his wife during her travel? This is traveling from Saudi to the United States. And that's the first question. The second question is, if there is an imam who is leading prayer and he forgets to make sujood, and he already stands up, and a member of the prayer says Subhanallah, just to inform the imam, should the imam go back down immediately and make that sujood, or should he complete the prayer and make some kind of makeup? What should he do after that?
Okay, it's understood. Okay, I have Brother Isa from Nigeria.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
So, my question to you is that why a woman after her menstruation period is said to observe expiation on fasting, but not on salat that she missed? While the prayer, to my own understanding, has a more importance on fasting.
Why a woman who's having her period what?
A woman that is observing menstruation, after her period of menstruation, is said to do expiation after fasting. But it's said to do expiation on fasting, not on prayer.
Okay, I think we got the question, I think. Sajid from KSA.
How are you? Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum assalam wa barakatuh, brother.
How are you, sir?
Alhamdulillah, good. How are you?
I have 2 questions, sir, today.
Okay, go ahead.
First question is that, is this necessary for a groom to kabul nikah again as soon as he finishes kabul nikah from the court of Islamic court?
Oh, can you repeat this, brother?
Is this necessary to kabul nikah?
Is it necessary to do qabul in nikah?
Nikah. For a groom.
Okay.
For a groom, another time. Another time.
Okay, I got the question. Thank you. Abdul Hakim from Nigeria.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Sheikh, I want to ask what is the true position of Islam on family planning? Because we do have some challenges here in Nigeria. You see somebody collecting minimum wage of about 18,000 naira. 18,000 naira is roughly about $120 in 1 month. And you see that same person having about 10 children with a wife. And that salary is the only means of income he has. As a result, he will not be able to handle school fees and things like that. And so you see a lot of dropout. So what is the true position of Islam as affects it in terms of family planning? That's my question, Chef.
Okay. Thank you. Well, you will get the answer shortly, inshallah. Muhammad from Nigeria. Go ahead, brother.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum salam.
Sheikh, I have a question. What is the best way to tackle the minor shirk? And my second question is...
The best way to do what?
In Nigeria, there is this issue of Boko Haram. Hello?
What was the first question?
My first question is, what is the best way to tackle minor shirk?
Okay.
Okay, the second question is, this issue of Boko Haram in Nigeria, because of it, many people are shaving their heads and living the Sunnah, the treatise of the Prophet, just not to be identified as Boko Haram. What is your advice to people like that?
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, I have... let me go ahead and answer those questions then. Starting with Abdurrahman from Saudi Arabia, is it permissible to make one's wife travel for 24 hours so that he can go visit his family and not accompany his wife? Well, the issue of air travel is a controversial issue. A woman traveling alone without a mahram is an issue of controversy in if the travel is safe and secure travel. Particularly when it comes to air travel, it is a controversial issue because air travel is considered to be secure and safe. I'm quite sure that you will hear different answers, but I will give you my answer, what I believe to be the stronger position. Which is that it is preferred for him to accompany you, but it is not obligatory and it is not haram for you to travel alone by air. If you have a mahram taking you to the airport and another mahram on the other end or on the other side, or you have arrangements in both places and your safety is assured in both places. And that is certainly for various proofs, including the fact that some of the mothers of the believers went to Hajj after the Prophet ﷺ, accompanied by Uthman ibn Affan and Abdurrahman ibn Auf, who were not maharim to them, and that was during the time of Umar radiallahu anhu. There is also the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ in which he said to Adi ibn Hatim that you will, if you live long enough, you will see that safety will prevail until a lone woman will travel from Al-Hira to the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not fearing but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is the default of impermissibility is established via many hadith that were reported by Bukhari and Muslim about the prohibition of a woman traveling alone without a mahram. Whoever believes in Allah and the final day should not travel without a mahram. The Prophet ﷺ said, and some of the hadith it mentioned, the travel of 1 day and 1 night and so on, and 3 days and nights. To to sort of reconcile between all of the hadith, it seems that if the travel is secured and it is particularly safe, a woman may travel alone in this case. This will continue to be a controversial issue, and it will continue to be preferred for your husband to accompany you, but I don't think that he's particularly committing a sin by doing that if his position is otherwise. The second question you posed here, if there is an imam who is leading the prayer and forgets to make sujood, and people remind him to come down, what should he do from there? He should go down and make sujood. There are two different scenarios here, and one of the two scenarios is if the imam is moving from the second to the third and he forgot to make the first tashahhud. In this case, he should not come down to make sujood. If he stands upright completely, fully erect, then he should not come down for the first tashahhud. That is because the first tashahhud is not a pillar of the salah, and the standing is a pillar in the salah. The first tashahhud is obligatory or sunnah muakkada according to some of the madhahib, but it is not a pillar in the salah. Now, if the person had forgotten to make sujood is a pillar in the salah, and even if he engaged in the next pillar, he should still go back to sujood and make his sujood. If he insisted not to, and he knows that he has not made sujood, then this rak'ah is ruined for him. Also, if he does not come down and he finishes the prayer, they need to remind him and have him make up for this rak'ah. I will take another question, and then I will go back and answer those questions, and I will stop taking questions until I answer what I have here. Go ahead, Sister Sumaya from Egypt.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
I have two questions.
Go ahead, Sister.
One question is for brothers who shorten their beard. I'm not talking about shaving it completely, but for those who trim it when they get their hair cut, is this haram that they keep it like 1 centimeter, or are they supposed to not trim it at all?
Okay, that's the first one.
Yes, that's the first question. And then my second question is, it's kind of a split question.
Go ahead.
It's for brothers. For them keeping their clothes above their ankle. My question is, those who wear jeans and pants and trousers, does the same rule apply, or is it just for like gilbab or the thobe? For brothers who wear jeans, should they roll them up and have them above the ankle? And if they're not above the ankle, those who go and pray in masjids or making their salah, is their salah accepted if it's supposed to be above the ankle? And for women, I want to know, how long is our dress supposed to be? I know our dress is not supposed to be above the ankle, but exactly how long is it supposed to be after? So that's my questions.
Very, very good. Let me finish your questions, and then I'll start to go back. The brothers who trim their beard and make it very short, like 1 centimeter long. There are various positions here. The positions that I believe to have some credibility are 3 positions. One of them is to not trim it at all. And that is based on a certain narration of the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ in which he commanded us to grow our beards. The hadith says afu, which means let alone or leave leave the beards alone. And the second position is to trim whatever is beyond the one fist, to hold the beard with one fist, and to trim whatever it is that is beyond the one fist. And that is based on the doing of some of the Sahaba, including Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu. So this would be the Sahaba's interpretation of growing the beard, according to the people who supported that position or uphold that position. The third position is to make it abundant, because in one of the reports, the Prophet ﷺ said, "Waffiru," or make abundant your beards. And making the beard abundant would be to make it where the color of the complexion behind it does not show. Like it is thick enough, the color of the complexion behind it does not show, and that would be an abundant beard. So this, one of these three positions would still be a credible position. We will have a short break, and inshallah we'll come back and finish the rest of the questions.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala choose whom He wills subhanahu wa ta'ala for His mercy, for His messengership, for the revelation to be revealed. This is not for the human beings to make that decision. If a person would turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sincerely, truthfully, asking for forgiveness, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised to forgive. We have as Muslims a duty, and that is to recite the book of Allah, to ponder over the verses, the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to act according to the Quran. The mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala encompasses everything, but who would this mercy will be for? And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sent to all mankind. So the ummah, or the people of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, are all mankind since the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam till the day of judgment. Why waste our life without getting to know every verse in the Quran, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from us?
The Messenger of Allah, peace be upon him, narrated that when Allah, glory be to Him, wishes good for someone, He bestows upon him understanding of the religion, and that Allah makes the path to paradise easy for those who seek knowledge. Preoccupied by work or family in the modern world, a Muslim may struggle to find time for acquiring Islamic knowledge. To ease this struggle, we are launching Huda Academy to be your gateway to online Islamic e-learning.
Enroll now and study from our renowned scholars. Learn Aqidah from Dr. Muhammad Salah.
Learn Fiqh from Dr. Hatim Al-Hajj.
Learn Hadith from Dr. Muhammad Sa'id.
Learn Tafsir from Sheikh Ibrahim Zidan.
And learn Arabic from our professional instructors.
Successful graduates of Huda Academy will go through a final test and eventually receive a certificate of completion.
To enroll and learn more about Huda Academy, please visit us online at hudaonlineacademy.com.
Huda Academy, your gateway to authentic Islamic knowledge.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome back. Well, I have a few questions here that I will attempt to finish, inshallah. I'll go back, I finish Sister Sumayya's questions and then return to the previous ones. And I think I did finish her question about the trimming of the beard, her question about the clothes above the ankle or below the ankle, and whether wearing jeans would be different from wearing jalbabs or jalabiyya, the shirt. For males, and the length that is required of females. and whether the salah would be accepted if someone wore something below the ankles. So quickly, the clothes above does it make a difference if they are wearing jeans? It does make a difference if they are wearing jeans, but not according to all of the scholars, but according to some of the scholars, isbal, which is the dispraised lengthening of the clothes below the ankles, would apply to the izar and the qamis and the imama, because there is the izar, which is the lower garment, the lower wraparound garment, like they wear in Hajj, and the qamis would be the shirt, the long shirt, and the imama, because the Prophet ﷺ is reported by Abu Dawood in his Sunan and strengthened by Al-Albani, may Allah bestow mercy on him, said إنما الإسبال في القميص والعمامة في القميص والإزار والعمامة, or as he said, that isbal, which is the dispraised lengthening of the clothes, pertains to qamis, izar, and imama, as we indicated. So the position that I believe in is that the isbal does not pertain to pants unless the effective cause here of the prohibition is also realized or is also present in wearing pants. We have two effective causes. One is basically physical cause. The clothes would get dirty, would get unclean, or they would wear out from wearing them if they are too long. The other one has to do with kibr, or excessive, pride by wearing lengthy clothes. They used to show off the fact that they were wealthy during the time of the Prophet ﷺ or in pre-Islamic Arabia. So that's part of the reason why it was forbidden. And the other reason would be the physical one, about cleanliness and about protecting your clothes from the wear and tear. If those effective causes are not present in jeans, then it will not be applicable here. Now, if they go into the prayer with their clothes below the ankles, their salat is accepted. Their salat is certainly accepted. As for women, the right length for women is to be below the ankles, but how far below the ankles nowadays, with the presence of boots and thick socks and so on, she may use this to substitute for lengthening the garment further down. So she may wear her garment right below the ankle and wear something else, such as thick socks, to make up for the rest, or she can, better yet, wear pants underneath her abaya or overall garment. Going back, I think that we did not answer the second question that Sister Abdurrahman had from KSA. No, actually, we did answer that question. About the imam who forgot to make sujood. Brother Isa from Nigeria asked about why would a woman make up for the missed fasting, but not make up for the missed prayer. And in fact, a woman came and asked Aisha this very question, and Aisha said to her, that used to affect us during the time of the Prophet ﷺ, and we used to be ordered to make up for the fasting and not make up for the prayers. So Aisha gave the woman a perfect answer here. Aisha first sort of rebuked the woman a little bit for the way she asked the question. She said to her, "Haruriyatun anti? Are you from Khawarij or Kharijites?" Haruriya meaning from a certain village that used to be inhabited by Khawarij or Kharijites. How could you, deny the Sunnah? This used to be the Sunnah. This is how we were ordained, or what we were ordained to do by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that should be a sufficient answer for any believer. If that is what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, then we say La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. There is no one worthy of worship but Allah, and there is no one worthy of being followed in all regards without second guessing him but the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he is our ultimate leader to the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now if you try to sort of reason and say why not to accept the ruling but rather to increase your certainty, you can certainly say that there is some hardship in making up the salawat, and if the woman will be menstruating for 5 to 7 days per month, or around 5 days per month, and needs to make up all of those salawat when she finishes her period, that's somewhat different from menstruating for 5 days in Ramadan, and all she needs to make up is 5 days of fasting throughout the year. I have a question here from Brother Sajid from KSA regarding the groom needing to make another qabul, a second qabul, like there is qabul and ijab. So the groom initiates the marriage contract by sort of proposing, and then the guardian of the woman would accept the proposal, and that would be a qabul and ijab. So proposal and acceptance. Does he need to make a second qabul? No, he does not need to make a second qabul. It is understood from the first proposal that he accepts the marriage. I have a question also from Brother Abdul Hakim from Nigeria, and he was asking about family planning, and apparently he mentioned a certain scenario where someone is having financial difficulties and the person has 4 wives and so on. So would family planning be a consideration in this case? And yes, it is a consideration in this case. Now, to say that I will not have more than this number of children would not be warranted or correct, but to basically space them out so that you are not overwhelmed would be legitimate. Jabir radiallahu anhu said that we used to practice coitus interruptus while the Quran was being revealed. So coitus interruptus is a form of family planning. So once you have ensured that the particular method you're using is a non-harmful method, then it is permissible. We know permanent sterilization is not permissible, but spacing the children out would be permissible. Muhammad from Nigeria said, how do I resist Riyah? Or his question was about resisting Riyah and how one could resist Riyah or showing off. And it is a good question, and certainly it is a difficult question to answer. But to resist Riyah, I would say that you will have to have a better recognition of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have to really realize or recognize who Allah is and who the people are and what the people can do for you. Just think about it, not only in the hereafter when you stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone, but think about it in this dunya. If something had befallen you, if something afflicts you, a major disease, a major calamity, a disease that afflicts you or afflicts one of your loved ones, your offspring, or one of your loved ones, who will be out there, who will be willing to help you more than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most merciful? And if they are willing to help you, if there are human beings, the human beings that you show off in front of, if they are willing to help you, will they be able to help you? Most of the time they can't help you. So just keep this in mind, that it is only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that will be there for you in your time of need and in your time of hardship and distress. No one, Imam Ibn al-Qayyim, may Allah bestow mercy on him, said no one who truly knows Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Creator and the creation would favor dealing with the creations or transacting with the creations over transacting with the Creator. You have to have distracting glorification of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have to glorify Allah. After you have true recognition of Him, you will have you will glorify Him to the point where you will be distracted from all others. You will only behold Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you will only walk to Him with complete disregard to all other distractions on the way to Him subhanahu wa ta'ala, because ultimately there will be no one out there for you in your time of need and distress, in your grave, upon resurrection, when you stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone, not even then only, but also in this life, there is no one who is ultimately capable of helping you and delivering you from whichever trouble you fall in, except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The next question from Brother Muhammad from Nigeria as well was about shaving the beard and shaving the beard in Nigeria during these times, because he says that there is this particular group that is being targeted by the government, and they're cracking down not only on members of this group but also on bearded men. And in this case, would someone be allowed to shave his beard to protect himself from fitna or hardship? And the answer is yes. If that's truly the case, and it depends. You have to be really true sort of with yourself. You have to be truthful. You have to be transparent with yourself. If that is really the case, then it is permissible. But oftentimes we, like in Egypt, for instance, growing up in Egypt, we had also some concerns about safety for bearded people, but the concern was not that significant to warrant shaving one's beard. And in many cases, the concern really would not be that significant to warrant the shaving of the beard. But if the concern is significant, then again, deciding on these matters is basically requires some reasoning, and you can't blame the person who makes this decision or that decision, because it's a matter of reasoning and it's a matter of judging the reality, and people differ over such matters. But between you and yourself, just be as truthful as you can, as sincere as you can, and if you still believe that there is some probable harm that may befall you, then it would be permissible to shave your beard. I do have pending questions from before. I have a question here from Sister Nasra Khalifa. My children are asking me. My children are asking me if only prophets receive revelation, then why did Maryam receive revelation as well? This is a different type of revelation. This is a different type of revelation that Maryam received. It is not a revelation of a religious matter. It is a revelation of an event that will take place. So that is different from what the prophets receive, religious matters to be conveyed to people. And it looks like we're done. The time is over, so I wish, inshallah, the rest of the questions that are pending will be answered in future episodes. Jazakumullah khairan for listening, and enjoy the blessings and peace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala until the next episode. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance.